covering news where you live. This is 5 News.
Well, thank you for joining us here for the latest news and weather where you live. I'm Joe Ellison. Let's get you caught up. First today, changes to Arkansas's tax code taking effect this year, meaning many across the state will be owing a little less this tax season. Governor Asa Hutchinson signed them into law last year, cutting rates to an all-time low of 4.9%. Now, that's more than 2% lower than that 7% rate when the governor started his first term. The plan also lowered corporate tax rates from 5.9 to 5.3%. Meanwhile, the city of Fayetteville, their city council could soon approve thousands of dollars to help low-income families with their medical and dental needs. At their meeting tonight, the board will vote to approve $75,000 in American Rescue dollars. It would go to Welcome Health, who provides services to those who are uninsured. They say they hope to use the money over a year period and say since the pandemic, those in need of their services continue to rise. Also on the docket, council members will discuss an agreement with Magdalene Serenity House to provide $128,000 in support of recovery housing for formerly incarcerated women. And city directors in Fort Smith have a full slate of issues ahead of them, too, with their first concerning flags that were taken down at the Riverfront Park. One of the flags removed was a Confederate flag, which didn't sit well with those who say removing it was a violation of state historic laws. Still, a judge ruled the city did not have to replace the flag. Directors will consider putting up flags they say that represent the 6 branches of the military, though the city says they will not designate any of the flags historic. The discussion also will have about an ordinance that establishes a fee to sell animals within the Fort Smith city limits. It would require a $300 permit to sell animals and puts in place a penalty of $600 for selling animals without that permit. Now, before we get to more of today's top stories, let's get a check of that weather with meteorologist Stephen Abshire. Stephen, a different story today than we saw yesterday.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. We had a lot of strong storms move through yesterday, but not going to be a concern, not only for today, but really the rest of this week. We're going to have much nicer weather on the way. And that starts with today. We're going to have mild temperatures above average again for today. And after this, we're going to have cooler temperatures. But for now, we're seeing high temperatures later this afternoon, going to be into the upper 50s and into the 60s with sunny skies as we get into later on this afternoon. Taking a look at Fayetteville, 59 degrees for both Fayetteville and in Bentonville, 60 in Huntsville, 64 in Fort Smith, as well as in Poto and all the way to Clarksville, where we'll have temperatures into the mid-60s later on throughout the rest of today. As we get into tomorrow for Northwest Arkansas, we're going to expect a cool morning, going to be closer to freezing for those lows, but as we get later on throughout the day, we're going to see a lot of sunshine, temperatures getting up into the upper 40s by the time we get into the early afternoon. And then as you get back into the evening, we're going to see temperatures drop back into the 30s. Could see some areas by Thursday morning into the 20s. But for the River Valley, going to be in the 30s as well when you're waking up. As you get later on throughout the rest of the day for tomorrow, we're going to expect a lot of sunshine on the way as those temperatures hit right about average for this time of the year into the low 50s. And just a lot of sunny skies as we move forward in the next couple of days. But taking a look what to expect for Northwest Arkansas over the next 7 days, we're going to be above average for today, right around average for Wednesday and Thursday. A little bit warmer as we head into the weekend, but some more cloud coverage will be moving in ahead of some showers on Saturday. Sunday's looking dry and cooler, and then by Monday we're going to be warming up. For the River Valley as well, we're going to be looking at a similar story, going to be warm for today, but then seasonal for this time of the year by Wednesday and Thursday. Heading into the weekend, could see a bit of a warm-up on Friday. Heading into Saturday, keeping an eye on some shower chances, and then as we get into the end of the week and into the start of next week, could see a bit of a warm-up on the way. Now I'm going to send it back over to Joe with another look at today's headlines.
All right, thanks so much, Stephen. A Crawford County man has been charged with manslaughter after his nephew, 26-year-old Jacob Jones, died in custody after an alleged overdose. The charges come after footage was released of the two handcuffed in the back of a cruiser. Former interim sheriff Jimmy DeMonte alleged Jones was seen ingesting bags of illegal drugs given to him by 50-year-old David Alverson, his uncle. Less than 24 hours after the arrest, Jones died from what DeMonte said was a drug overdose after the bag ruptured inside of his body. Although Jones's death certificate has his manner of death listed as pending, DeMonte said he confirmed the overdose with the medical examiner. Alverson has pleaded not guilty to the charges. And lawyers for Richard Barnett have asked that his federal trial be delayed again. This comes after the Gravette native's latest trial date was set for next Monday, January 9th. You may remember Barnett is accused of entering the U.S. Capitol alongside other rioters while carrying a U.S. flag and a stun gun walking stick. On Monday, his lawyers asked for a minimum 60-day continuance from the trial date, citing the government's addition of the new civil disorder felony charge, and says it makes them unable to adequately prepare for the trial date. And the Taneytown Fire Department is ringing in the new year by expanding their operations. The department is adding 4 full-time firefighters to address the needs of a growing community. And they plan to add a new station nearly 12,000 square feet. That's almost 4 times as big as the current facility. Take a look.
Is now staffed 24 hours a day, 365.
As of January 1st, the Taneytown Fire Department has 6 full-time firefighters and new equipment. Captain John Buchan says this will improve response times.
It's going to save lives and protect property.
The Taneytown City Council approved the funding to make it happen.
So we requested an additional $200,000 for salaries and then for equipment, and now we're able to provide this service.
You said about a $200,000 increase, but I mean, is it worth it?
Ultimately, you can never put a price on a life, and it was just time that we did something to get to the citizens faster.
With the department now 24/7, at least 2 people will always be on shift, cutting out the time required to drive to the station before responding to a call. They can now go straight to the scene.
On medical calls, we'll have 4 people out the door in 90 seconds. On fires, we'll have 2 people out the door in 90 seconds.
Buchan says this all comes
It gets kind of tight.
with a few growing pains.
Station's literally falling apart.
In November, Taneytown broke ground on a new fire station
We've held on as long as we could.
scheduled to open this November.
Original fire station built when the fire department started in 1978.
I mean, how many years ago
So-
is that?
That's over 40 years.
40 years at the same station
We just don't have the facilities for the full-time staff.
in a town with a growing population.
Services to the 6,000 people in the city, but we also affect around 20,000 more people outside the city.
Providing mutual aid to cities across Benton County who can expect even better service.
Breath of reassurance for the citizens to know that when they call 911, fully trained, qualified firefighters are going to arrive at their door within minutes.
Now, that was Micah Wilson reporting. If you took an Uber or Lyft home on Saturday night to keep from drinking and driving, one local law firm wants to reimburse you for that ride. For the next few days, Calltrail Law Firm in Rogers is providing a reimbursement for your New Year's Eve rides. Wesley Calltrail with that law firm tells us that he worked as a prosecuting attorney and saw the life-changing effects of drunk driving accidents on people's lives. It's because of this, he says, he started the Free Rides program a few years ago.
So I thought it was a way to give back to the community, that say, look, you have options, especially now with Uber and Lyft. There's no reason you shouldn't call the service. We will reimburse you for a ride home. We don't reimburse you taking the ride to a place.
Now, the program works like this. If you got a ride home on New Year's Eve, you can go to the Calltrail Law Firm website, click on a link where you'll send the rideshare receipt, a picture of your driver's license, and your PayPal information. Once you do that, they'll reimburse you. Calltrail also says this is a program not many people take advantage of. That offer is only available up to a week since your ride, and they ask that you please do it soon because they're happy to help you and others stay safe. Well, those are some of your top stories on this Tuesday. I'm Jo Ellison. Make sure to catch up with us again tomorrow right here for more. Have a great day.